How did Anakin lose the Mustafar duel? It's a question that gets asked a lot. Anakin is clearly seen as the more powerful person of the two in Revenge of the Sith, where Obi-Wan is often viewed as average at best. And that's why a lot of people see Anakin's loss as very strange. How did Anakin lose a duel that should have been an instant win card? Well, some people have proposed the following ideas. One, people thought Obi-Wan just got lucky. Two, people think that Obi-Wan cheated and did a cheap trick. And three, people think that Anakin wasn't paying attention. I'm not going to lie to you. I have always been an expanded universe / Legends fan, and I have never been able to accept Disney canon. And more to the point, I have never been able to accept these explanations. The story painted by these reasonings was that Anakin was merely confused and trying to balance the Force, but Obi-Wan just somehow got lucky and just surprised Anakin. By some miracle, Anakin was completely caught off guard and not paying attention when Obi-Wan cheated and pulled a cheap trick. This is, not gonna lie, one of the least satisfying explanations that I have ever been forced to witness on YouTube. Am I really expected to believe that the Force, a god entity believed to be morally good, was just simply sitting passively doing absolutely nothing while the Chosen One was in a fight to the death? Am I supposed to believe that the entire fate of the galaxy was decided by a cheap trick? That Obi-Wan was just a clown pranking Anakin, and that Anakin lost to a cheap trick? At this point, why not say Anakin lost because he slipped on a banana peel? I completely reject this explanation. And honestly, I think this explanation is a load of baloney. Let's please give not just Obi-Wan, but let's give Anakin Skywalker some real credit here. Because one, Anakin was dealing with an actual threat. He wasn't dealing with just some random person around town. And two, Anakin was not caught off guard. He was absolutely paying attention. Evidence? Did we watch the same duel? Seriously, go watch the Mustafar duel. In the Revenge of the Sith movie, Anakin spends the entire duel focused on only one thing, and that is turning Obi-Wan into a sushi platter. So no, sorry, Anakin was absolutely paying attention. He wasn't caught off guard. But what about the cheap tricks? Obi-Wan cheated with a high ground trick. Well, Anakin attacked Windu when he wasn't paying attention. Anakin also attacked separatists on Mustafar, clearly untrained civilians. He also slaughtered unarmed children. And when he was dueling the Jedi in the Jedi Temple, 1,000 clones were shooting all of Anakin's opponents in the back with blasters. Are we really going to argue about what's fair? Honestly, it seems like Anakin was doing a lot more cheating than Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan even warned Anakin about the high ground trick and even tried to talk Anakin out of the duel multiple times. So, Anakin did have a pretty fair warning, to be fair. So, no, I really don't think that explanation is valid. So why did Anakin really lose the duel? And I mean really lose the duel. I mean, isn't it a bit weird that everyone asks, how did Anakin lose to Obi-Wan? But no one seems to ask how Luke defeated Vader, or how Vader brought balance to the Force. They don't ask it because it seems obvious. Well, how about we actually look at the duels in Revenge of the Sith? And if you look at the duels in Revenge of the Sith, one conclusion we can draw from both the duel between Palpatine and Windu and the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan is that, well, one, power is not everything. Now don't get me wrong, Power can sometimes help a lot, an awful lot. But we have two duels. In Palpatine versus Windu, it's clear that Palpatine is the more powerful one. Yet Palpatine loses to Windu even though he's more powerful. And in the Anakin versus Obiwan, Anakin is the more powerful, and yet Anakin is the loser in this duel. So, power is not a shield of invincibility. I know that power can be very impressive, but it's not a guaranteed shield of invincibility protecting you from any form of loss. You can still lose a lightsaber duel even if you're the more powerful one. But what makes Anakin Skywalker so powerful? Well, first, Anakin had Chosen One status, and that seems unimportant, but being the Chosen One sets Anakin's max potential way above Sidious and Yoda, and maybe even past Darth Revan levels, so that is pretty high potential. So being the Chosen One of the Force has its perks. 2, the dark side of the Force is kind of like a dangerous drug. It allows you to instantly reach your current full potential, though it does wreak havoc on your body over time and tends to kill you. While the Jedi way is power you have to earn and doesn't have that health drawbacks. And also, Anakin is a very natural offensive fighter. So Anakin's fighting style, which is offensive, plus his Chosen One status, and the dark side, make for a pretty impressive combo, making Anakin dramatically powerful. So that can make Anakin pretty devastating on the battlefield. Honestly, dueling Anakin with this combo is like every slash of Anakin's sword feeling like a cannonball. Not a very fun thing to block. If you want this explained another way, Obi-Wan is the kid who spent a year fully mastering a video game the old-fashioned way, while Anakin is the kid who plays the game, but eventually got bored and used online cheat codes to win, to unlock cool perks. But, here's a question. Why does everyone even think that Obi-Wan should have actually lost? Well, it's actually a very simple ideology. You see, while Sidious and Yoda were the most powerful, Count Dooku is widely agreed upon as literally the best duelist in the entire galaxy. Ever. And in Revenge of the Sith, Dooku stomps Obi-Wan, but loses to Anakin, generally leaving the audience to believe that Anakin must be the best duelist in the world, and better than Obi-Wan, since Obi-Wan lost to the best duelist in the world, but Anakin beat the best duelist, right? So therefore, Anakin must be better than Obi-Wan. But there are a few problems with that. 1, every time you duel an opponent in a lightsaber fight, you have to tailor your strategy to the opponent. You can't just duel the exact same way every time. Each lightsaber fight is a completely different animal. So just because A beats B doesn't automatically mean A also beats C. A fight with a bear is different than a fight with a snake. Okay, got it? Good, moving on. Dooku was more skilled than Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan trained Anakin personally and knows Anakin's fighting style better. Dooku was more powerful, but Obi-Wan was younger and had more energy and stamina, and was naturally more defensive. I'm not saying Obi-Wan is equal to Dooku, because that's not true. Dooku was clearly the better duelist, and was superior to Obi-Wan. But the point that I'm trying to make is that a duel with Dooku is not the same as a duel with Obi-Wan. Just because you defeat Obi-Wan doesn't mean you crush Dooku, and just because you crush Dooku does not mean you're going to beat Obi-Wan. And 2, you actually might not be aware of this, but in the novelization, it's actually revealed in Revenge of the Sith that the duel for Dooku was actually staged from the very beginning. It was intended to be the moment Anakin fell to the dark side. While not explained in the movie, the plan was for Dooku to lose on purpose. inflate Anakin's ego at beating Dooku, and for both Sidious and Dooku to work together to turn Anakin evil. Dooku was even given direct orders to not kill Anakin. All this is in the novelization. So, do you see what's happening here? Dooku was not fighting Anakin Skywalker at full power. He was not dueling to kill. He was not throwing his best at Anakin. Dooku wanted to lose to Anakin on purpose, so he could turn him to Team Evil. Now, obviously, he didn't expect losing his hands, and he didn't expect being backstabbed by Sidious. But Dooku was never actually trying to win the duel against Anakin. For most of the duel, he was toying with him, at least until the end, where his hands got chopped off. So the entire idea that Anakin is a better duelist than Dooku and a better duelist than Obi-Wan is completely based off of a misunderstanding. So why did Anakin lose to Obi-Wan? Well, I want to offer you 3 potential alternative explanations. 1, divine intervention. When Anakin turned to the dark side, he was no longer trying to fulfill his role as the Chosen One and obey the Force. He was trying to do whatever he wanted and literally wipe out all the Jedi. And I mean all of them, and leave none alive whatsoever. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan was always trying to be obedient to the Force, and he genuinely desired to obey the will of the Force. The idea being here that the Force used Obi-Wan as a conduit to punish Anakin for his rebellion, divinely intervening on Obi-Wan's behalf, to save Obi-Wan, but also at the same time punish Anakin. This also explains why Obi-Wan didn't kill Anakin, because the Force told Obi-Wan not to. Anakin is still the Chosen One, don't get me wrong, but this explanation states that Obi-Wan is kind of a substitute teacher, being used by the Force to do its will until Anakin gets his act together and fulfills his role as the Chosen One. Another possible explanation is Anakin's kryptonite. Let's be real here. Obi-Wan's fighting style was designed to give the ultimate defense, while saving as much energy as possible. Honestly, you could argue that maybe Obi-Wan designed his fighting style to specifically defeat Anakin, because there's a lot of uncanny benefits to his fighting style when it comes to specifically fighting Anakin. Also, his duel with Darth Maul on Naboo taught him an offense is nothing without an excellent defense. Added to that, he trained Anakin personally and had all of Anakin's moves memorized. While Anakin's combo move was powerful, the explanation here is that Obi-Wan's fighting style was just his kryptonite. Right? Even Superman, the most powerful man in the world, has his kryptonite. A third possible explanation is that Anakin kind of defeated himself. The idea being here is that there are different kinds of power, some earned, some not earned. Added to that, power is not the shield of invincibility guaranteeing you victory. All it takes to kill a man is one well-aimed blow. So if you're way too overconfident, even a Jedi youngling can take you down. Overestimating your abilities and being overconfident leads to sloppy fighting, so Anakin, in a way, was too reliant on his power. So in a way, Anakin defeated himself, especially when he abandoned his Chosen One duties to do his own thing. But what do you think? Why do you think Anakin really lost to Obi-Wan? Let me know in the comments below. Professor Sassafras signing out.